How to actually get lucky. Two people walk into the same coffee shop. One trips on the doorstep, grumbles, orders their coffee, and leaves. The other trips, notices a folded-up note that fell out of their pocket, realizes it's the phone number of someone they've been meaning to call for months. Same event, completely different experience. The difference wasn't luck, it was perception. And there is now a neuroscience to explain why some people consistently seem to get lucky and what the rest of us can actually do about it. Here's something that will mess with your head a little. In 2003, a psychologist named Richard Wiseman ran a study. He gave people a newspaper and asked them to count the photographs inside. Simple task, right? But halfway through the newspaper, he had secretly printed a message in giant letters. Stop counting, there are 43 photographs. People who called themselves unlucky missed it almost every single time. People who called themselves lucky saw it immediately, laughed, and moved on. Same newspaper, same message, completely different results. So here's the question. Is luck something that happens to you or something your brain is trained to notice? Because the neuroscience says it's the second one. And today we're going to talk about why and what you can actually do about it. What is luck? Luck is not a cosmic force. It's not karma. It's not something some people are born with. From a neuroscience standpoint, what we call luck is mostly the result of two things working together. One, your brain's filtering system. Two, your behavioral patterns. Here's what I mean. Your brain is bombarded by about 11 million bits of information per second, but your conscious mind can only process around 40 to 50 bits at a time. So your brain has a filter, a system called the Reticular Activating System, or RAS. It's a tiny network of neurons in your brainstem, and its job is to decide what gets through and what gets ignored. Think about the last time you learned a new word, and suddenly you started hearing it everywhere, or when you bought a car and then saw that exact model on every street. Lucky people's brains are often unconsciously tuned to notice opportunity. Their RAS is calibrated differently. And the beautiful thing, you can recalibrate yours. So what makes some brains better at spotting opportunity? There are two big neurological factors. First, broadened attention. Psychologist Barbara Fredrickson's broaden and build theory, one of the most replicated findings in positive psychology, shows that positive emotional states literally expand your visual field and cognitive attention. When you're in a low-grade positive state, not euphoric, just okay and open, your peripheral awareness increases. You notice more. Your brain becomes, in her words, cognitively expansive. When you're anxious, stressed, or in threat mode, the opposite happens. Your attention narrows. You go into tunnel vision. You stop seeing the edges, which is exactly where most opportunities live. Second, the dopamine curiosity loop. Neuroscientist Jaak Panksepp identified a system in the brain he called the seeking system, a dopamine-driven circuit that is activated by novelty, exploration, and curiosity. When the system is active, you are literally chemically rewarded for noticing new things. You become a better scanner, you make more unexpected connections. People who regularly activate the system through curiosity, new experiences, open-ended conversations, are essentially training their brain to hunt for signal in the noise. And now we're going to practice the lucky behavior pattern. This is rooted in the science we just covered. Practice 1, the lucky audit, RAS calibration. Every morning, spend 60 seconds asking yourself, what kind of opportunity am I open to today? It sounds almost stupidly simple, but what you're doing is priming your RAS with a category to scan for. You're giving your brain a filter to run in the background. You can be specific. I'm open to a conversation that changes something. Or broad. I'm open to something I didn't expect. Do this consistently, and you will start noticing things you were walking past for years. Practice 2. Novelty injections. Pick one small thing each week that you've never done. New route, new podcast genre, new person you talk to, new coffee shop. You're not doing this for the experience itself. You're doing it to keep the seeking system active, to keep your dopamine curiosity circuit from going dormant. A brain that is regularly surprised is a brain that is good at finding signal. Practice 3, calming your mind. Before any high-stakes situation, a meeting, a pitch, a difficult conversation, spend 5 minutes getting your nervous system into a calm, open state. Box breathing, a short walk, a moment of gratitude. Why? Because you now know that cognitive narrowing under stress kills opportunity detection. You can't see the edges of the newspaper when your brain is in threat mode. Getting into a calm baseline is not softness, it's a performance advantage. Practice 4, the luck journal for 30 days. At the end of each day, write down one thing that went unexpectedly well, not to be positive for positivity's sake, but because you are training pattern recognition. You're teaching your brain to find and log opportunity signals, which makes it better at finding them in real time. Richard Wiseman actually used this as an intervention with self-described unlucky people. After a month, most of them reported feeling and being significantly luckier. Practice 5, expand your weak ties. Lucky people talk to strangers, they say yes to random invitations, they take the long way home sometimes. Neurologically, what they're doing is expanding their social network graph, which statistically increases the probability of encountering information, people, and situations that can become opportunities. Sociologist Mark Granovetter called these weak ties, the acquaintances, not the close friends, who are most likely to introduce you to something genuinely new. Lucky people unconsciously build more of them. One conversation per week with someone outside your normal circle, someone at the gym, a LinkedIn connection you've never spoken to. You're not networking in the cringe sense. You're increasing the surface area of your life, the probability space through which new information and opportunity can reach you. So, back to that newspaper study. The people who missed the message weren't less intelligent. They weren't cursed. They were just in scanning mode. Narrow, task-focused, heads down. And that's most of us, most of the time. The science tells us something genuinely hopeful. Your brain can be tuned. Attention is trainable. The reticular activating system responds to direction. The seeking system can be kept alive. The nervous system can learn to stay open. Luck isn't about what happens to you, it's about what your nervous system is calibrated to notice. And that is something you can actually work on. If this framing was useful, share it with someone who thinks they're just not a lucky person. Because now you know that's a fixable problem, and I'll see you in the next one.